Welcome to another edition of the E-Spot with Camille. The E-Spot is your location for the latest in entertainment, beauty, and design from the people who make it. Thanks for joining. Hey everybody, it is 2025 and we are starting the E-Spot with our best face, body, mind forward. I am so excited to bring to you the one, the only, and my cousin, because I don't know what's going on with all the nepotism that I'm doing this year, but I'm all in. If you got great family that's talented and smart, why not bring them apart, right? So anyway, without further ado, I am so excited to introduce you to, and you've seen her before. She was on last season, Cindy Milligan. She is an RN. She is an MSN. She is a CBN, PRN. She's got all the letters, okay? She's someone we can trust. She's well educated. She's going to make sure we are of sound mind because we need all the help. Don't look at my forehead too closely because I know I need a Botox, but it's coming. It's
You got
coming.
the foreheads.
Look, the 5 heads. Shout out to
It's time.
Rihanna, by the way, because I'm in love with her new spray. And since we brought up foreheads, you know, I'm still laughing at the guy that said, "Hey, forehead, when we getting an album?"
Oh, yeah,
He was like, "You don't know me that well to say that."
exactly. She's like, hold on, hold on.
So, Cindy, I am so
Oh,
happy
Happy
to see
New Year.
all the love. Look, all the love.
Yeah.
Share with everyone what we can get into to 2025 to really help us get that extra level of protection, whether it's our mind, whether it's getting that new body, new you. Like you're doing it all. So start us off, preach to us, tell us what we need.
Well, thank you for having me again. Happy New Year. And I think this is a great way to start the new year off, to reset. I think it's a really good way of, how are we going to carry ourselves through the year? And I think in January we all have our New Year's resolutions of what we're going to do different from last year. So with beginning of every year, we always want to know what can we do different than we did last year. So at Health and Wellness Pros, we have 3 buckets, and I think they all overlap to potentiate each other or augment each other. We have our behavioral health. We offer weight loss, which I think those two go hand in hand. As I've said before, if you look good, you feel good, and so it's a better version of yourself. Whether it's you want to lose weight or you just want that wellness of what can I do different to just be a healthier version of yourself, which rolls into the regenerative medicine piece with peptides and allograft therapy, where we have aches and pains. I'm getting older. I'll be 52 this year, if you can believe that. But I know. So
I don't believe that, but now
when
everybody's
you
going to want to do whatever you do to stay young because
when you
it's
get
not
out of
just
bed in the
genetics for
morning,
us.
listen, those knees cracking back. I'm like, oh, so peptide therapy and regenerative medicine, those are our 3 buckets that we have. And they all, I think, just they they complement each other in our patient base. So we're very happy to be here to help individuals find out what works best for them. They're customized plans of care. One patient does not have what the other patient has, based on peptide blends. Everything's individualized. So it's not a cookie cutter way that we provide care, which is what I love best about what we do.
So you said some hot topic items in that. And I think a lot of people are a little confused, or maybe there's so many of those words that are just kind of thrown about. Because even I, before we got on the air on my part, I didn't even realize there was like injectable peptides. I just was seeing it a lot in skincare products. I
Yes.
have like a lot of like cream, the snail company. I'm not going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
because they don't
Yes.
pay me, so I'm not going to just promote products.
Yeah, right.
But like there's all these different peptides all of a sudden coming out.
Yeah.
So explain exactly why we need peptides and what we can expect from the different kinds of peptides you mentioned
Okay.
or
Pep-
peptide treatments.
yes. So, yes, peptides are a big hot topic. There are peptides, as you mentioned, in skincare, a lot of skincare products. It's the anti-aging. How can we stay younger? How can we keep our youthful look? Um, you can do it topical, but the best way to obtain that longevity and youthful look and feeling are by doing peptides in an injectable manner. There are some in a pill form, and I'll talk about that in a second. But peptides, we have over, maybe 3,000, if not, don't quote me, but 3,000 plus that make up the cells and chains in our body. They're amino acids. Amino acids are smaller links, then proteins are bigger links. So if you think of a lock and key, peptides are very specific amino acids that provide different functions in the body. So if you could take a pill and you could take medications, and then you can have all these different side effects. But where peptides are very different, and people are reading more about it, they're not as afraid of them. I've been dealing with peptides since 2018. At the time I didn't take them, it was when I had my med spa. I was like, I don't know what this stuff is. So I was a little nervous. I was selling it, and I was like, I don't know, these people are a little strange because they're just taking this stuff and eating it up. But at the time, I wish I would have started taking them then, because I've learned so much more about it. But that was when it was beginning to take traction. Now I've learned so much more about it and educated myself. It is kind of the building blocks of our cellular makeup, and it is what helps us fight off certain diseases, free radicals. It helps us live longer, and it just helps us become a more healthier version of ourselves. So they are very good things about peptides, some that fight off certain disease processes. So it is a great thing that I think we will continue to hear more about. You will continue to see it on the forefront more in medicine than just kind of more of a luxury in the beauty market. So think of peptides as we have them naturally. You can inject them to help become more of a beneficial, more specific, targeted, depending on if it's for recovery from surgery, if it's for weight loss. So if you are taking a weight loss medication, I provide that service. But then once people reach their goal, you can transition over to peptide therapy and not stay on that weight loss medicine for years and years and years. So it's just a healthier, more transitional point to give your body back what it needs that you're missing, and then just start your body to reset so it can perform and do the things that it used to do when we were in our 20s and 30s and maintaining our weight. So it just kind of goes back to giving your body back those building blocks that we lose over time as we age.
So you just said some amazing things, because I was just going to ask, how do you know if you're a good candidate? But it seems as though it's one of those things that can be a preventive, whether you're in your 20s, or it can be something to maintain your 20 type metabolism when in your 40s, 50s,
Yes.
60s. Oh my,
Yeah.
so um, are there any contraindications for why you couldn't use peptides, or is it pretty much safe for everyone since it's something already naturally found in your body?
There are some contraindications. So if there are, and that's still even, people online, and the dark web is a place where you can buy anything. But at the same time, even though they are is things that we have naturally, it is still required or recommended to consult with a medical professional, because there are some instances, if you have an autoimmune disorder, there are some peptides, the growth hormone peptides, that can potentiate or cause autoimmune disorders to get out of hand and exacerbate. If you have cancer or are in remission from cancer, there are some peptides that can potentiate those cancer causing cells. Now, on the flip side of that, there are a lot of peptides that help to prevent free radical cells. Those are cells that cause those bad conditions, or cancer causing cells, or disease causing cells. So there's kind of a two-sided coin, that you still need a medical professional to go through your medical history and to look to make sure that you are a good candidate, and just to go through the ins and outs and how they work. And there's different cycles that you need to cycle off and on certain ones that you can't just take forever and ever, month in and month out. So you can, go online and buy them, but it's always best to have a medical professional involved when you're taking peptides.
Now, would you also suggest like maybe they get like a whole blood workup beforehand? Because what if they don't know they have cancer or an immune disorder?
Correct.
Like
Yes.
some of those things. Like, I mean, I'm a med spa girly, but I'm also in the doctor's office every other
Yes.
week. It seems like so.
Yes.
I've done all the tests, so I know what I can and can't do to some extent. But a lot of times at med spas, they don't do like a whole blood workup before
Yeah.
they do your treatment, or even, I mean, I don't know if plastic surgeons do, but so what would you recommend someone have done before even making an appointment with you? Or do they do the consultation with you first and then get the
Yes.
whole makeup? Or, I mean, you're a nurse practitioner, you probably can do it yourself, do all
Yes.
the blood testing and everything. So how do you do all of that?
Yes. So I do recommend getting blood work. I usually require patients having blood work within the last 6 months. If they have not, we are equipped to do blood work at our office. So we have a partnership with the lab. So I like to look at thyroid panels, their testosterone, men and women, free and total. It just gives you a lot of information just to look at baseline where a patient is, to make sure there is not anything that's abnormal. So hormone levels are important. Looking at their complete metabolic panel, so that tells you a lot about their kidney and their liver, because peptides are metabolized by the liver and excreted by the kidney. So meaning that when you take it in, your liver metabolizes it, make sure it's absorbed, and then you urinate it out through your kidneys. So making sure your liver and kidneys are working well is super, super important. So those labs are important.
So what kind of results can people expect from these different kinds of peptides that you offer? Because you have a few fun cocktails, the only cocktails I like because I don't drink. So tell us a little bit about what kind of life-saving, life-altering cocktails we should be
Yeah.
looking out for in 2025.
So I like to put it in three buckets. You have your gym enthusiasts, athletes that, there's a bucket of peptides that clientele that they love, that, their workouts are better, they get leaner, more defined muscle, they just have more energy and their workouts are just better. And then you have kind of a recovery type bucket type peptides. So I would say the gym enthusiasts, it's like your tesamorelin, ipamorelin type peptides. Those are growth hormone factors. So they work on the pituitary gland to help your pituitary gland excrete more endogenous, meaning your own growth hormone factor. So they love that. And then CJC, those are that's kind of the common blend that people like. BP 157 and TB 500, those are like your recovery peptides. So if you've had surgery, if you've had an injury, we talked about your wrists. Some people like that just as a maintenance because you feel good. It takes the pain away. Some people refer to the BP 157 as the Wolverine peptide. If you hear a lot of podcasts, I mean, it's really it helps with a lot of aches and pains with muscles, joints, because it has what we call an angiogenesis, where it helps the vasculature like replenish at the cellular level to help supply the blood supply to the tendons and to the muscles. So that's why it works so well. And then you have a bucket of peptides for mental health and for memory and for patients like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So CMAX and CLAX. So it's so many peptides, but that's kind of the three buckets of health and wellness, or health enthusiasts, recovery, and then memory and just mood. So that's where I would kind of put the three, but then there's so many others that go into those buckets. Um, I've got to light a fire under myself. I have a class that is almost done, and I've had people ask me about it. So that's one thing that I've got a timeline that February it's going to be the trigger date that I'll pull and I'll go. It'll be for healthcare professionals. So the classes will be small. They'll be intimate, no more than 10 people at a time. So we'll go through protocols like how to stack the different peptides, how to, start a business if you already have a business, but, how to create your own, peptide therapy um, business if you want. So a lot of good information that I want to share. So, more people can help a lot of people across the globe if they want to.
That's going to be so necessary in 2025. I feel
It
like a
is.
lot of people are going to be stress eating. They're going to be, they're going to have their mental health. But not only that, but you were mentioning how you compare, like you compare it with your weight loss. So tell me a little bit about the
Mm-hmm.
different weight loss treatments that you have, because we're seeing it all over the place about
Yeah.
all these different, from Wegovy, Ozempic, the compounds.
Yes.
What do you recommend as far as all of that? Like, because there's the people who are saying it should be only for diabetics, but obesity is a real problem in
It
America,
is.
as well as
It
like
is.
if you're pre-diabetic, or
Pre-diabetic.
even
Yeah.
just like I'm learning of different hormonal. Like I have a friend who has PCOS, and it's been
Yes.
beneficial for her. So there's so many
It
different
is.
things that Wegovy, Ozempic, all the things.
Right.
Whatever. I'm not saying any more of these people's names. I just realized they don't pay me neither. They making tons of money, so they don't need my help. But I'm curious for you, like even with the compounds, like a lot of the
Yeah.
different compounding, like maybe they're somewhat better, but they're definitely more affordable for most people
Right. They
because
are.
they, I don't know, do they pair it with peptides? Like teach me everything, because I'm too scared of needles, but I know that for your treatment program, I would be
Yeah.
willing to risk it.
So places generally do not. They do the weight loss, and that's they when you get it from a compound, it's a generic. So I work with compound pharmacies, so it's going to be semaglutide for the generic Ozempic and tirzepatide for the generic Mounjaro. And then, they Wegovy is the Ozempic. And so you have all the other names that are the brand names that are from the pharmaceutical companies. The compound pharmacies have been going back and forth with the FDA and with the big pharma over tirzepatide being available. Like we got an email last week, it was available. Then they said, oh no, it's not available. So they've been battling since October about being able to compound it and not. So, because it's money, if the big pharma, has it available, and the only thing when it's not available, it's the pen, it's the plastic portion, the delivery system. It is the same medicine that the compound pharmacy produces that big pharma produces. It's in a vial as opposed to being in a pen delivery system. So the integrity, I use Hallandale. They don't pay me, but I think they're a great pharmacy. I haven't ever had any issues at all with any medications that I've received from them. But I think it's just, I have quite a few clients that have PCOS that are on the weight loss, and it has helped because that can cause so many other challenges of being pre-diabetic, being overweight, and they feel better, they're losing weight, and so there's so many benefits. There's a cardiac benefit, and I think I mentioned before, you know, we were using Ozempic on our cardiac patients years ago before it ever came out for weight loss. So I have seen this medication used even before it got sexy and popular. So it's not anything new to me. So I'm glad that it's able to reach so many people now, and it's able to help so many people. And so that's why I'm very, stringent in doing the intakes and going through medical history and looking at all the medications that clients are on, because things can interact. So I'm very mindful of looking at and turning over every rock and stone when I do my consults and the follow-ups, just to make sure that everything is covered. When in our program, I do include peptide therapy with the weight loss, which is a little different from other places. You can blend. I do see some compound pharmacies blending some peptides with the medication itself, like in the vial, but I choose to do it a little separate, in a separate syringe. So you can do it in numerous ways. I think doing the peptide separately, and it just again depends on the patient what that peptide is going to be. I think when they lose the weight, the stability of their weight loss is just more stable, and I think it's because of the peptides. So when they stop it, I feel like they don't gain their weight back as quickly, as long as there's a lifestyle change with that as well.
I think that's so interesting because you are a mental health professional. You can help them on that aspect too. You can help them with having a better relationship with food or binge eating or whatever there may be that causes them to even gain the weight in the first place,
Yeah.
to make them more successful. Because you know, I feel like sometimes people have body dysmorphia even with it, and so like being able, like once they lose the weight, they still don't feel like they've lost it, if that makes sense.
And that happens. Yes.
So you
Yeah.
get all three. You get triple, yeah, a triple
So
threat.
I have to do those post checks. It's like, no, 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 no. You're okay. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
and and then sometimes when people reach their goal, they'll still feel like they need to go further. And I have to remind them, well, your goal was this. And, in the beginning, and even when they reach it, it's like it's still not enough. So that's when it's just having that re-engagement of, well, remember when we talked, and kind of taking them back. And it's just to your point of, are they looking in the mirror and seeing something different than what they're seeing right now, because they're smaller than they were 5 months ago, and they're truly at their goal, but it's just kind of like, sometimes it's just never enough. So it's just having those conversations of, well, this is where you want it, but where do you want to go? But I think it's all about the expectations, and kind of revisiting those expectations, and just realize that, hey, you did it, and be proud of yourself. And now it's maintaining it in the lifestyle change.
Very interesting. Because one thing I've noticed also, like there was, we're going to touch these hot topics again. There was this whole thing about Ozempic face. And so I feel
Hmm.
like with you talking about introducing peptides into them, that will
It
help
helps.
rebuild those collagen
It
blocks in
helps.
their skin. So they're not having,
It helps.
because I mean, I don't want to out anybody by any means, but sometimes you can tell when
You
somebody
can.
lost weight
You can.
loss the
Yeah.
natural way
And I feel like,
because
and
of that.
I don't want to say, but I am. I feel like my clients don't have that look. I just
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah.
feel like they don't get you know, that look in their face and their neck, because I feel like the peptides are supporting it on the back end.
And that's something like, hey, maybe they're not aware of because they're only treating one problem, not
Hmm.
realizing the other problem might come along with it.
Yeah.
As,
And it goes with those really high doses
okay.
of the medication as well, too. You know, using the peptides, I don't have clients on super, super high doses either. So that prevents that escalation of continuing to go up and up and up, because the peptides help the balance, and it helps the fat burn as well too, and you don't have to continue to increase those dosages.
See, think of it all. And plus now, because they've lost the weight, they're like probably can do more as far as working out and
Yep.
cardio, and you're helping them with their joints. So they
Yeah.
can really help
They feel
maintain.
better.
Yeah.
Sleep is better. They feel better. It's just kind of a holistic approach to their wellness. And it's not just, we're doing this as a fad to get you to this number. And I always tell everybody, let's not look at a static number. Pick an outfit or a dress or a pair of pants and have that as your goal, and not look at the number every day on that scale, and look at a subjective or objective piece of clothing, or look at your inches, because a lot of times you lose inches way before the scale starts to move. And so it's just looking at yourself as a whole, and not that number.
That's such a great point. So we talked about weight loss, we talked about peptides. Now
Hmm.
let's talk a little bit about this mental health. So tell us what we can do, because whether you voted or didn't vote, everybody's going to start feeling the repercussions from some of these programs that are
Mm,
being taken away from us on a federal level.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to be stressed out. There's going to be a lot of people who are just going to have more anger issues. How, like, I feel like everybody should have a therapist, but at the same time, what tips do you give as far as when's it time to seek professional help? What, and what can they expect from like meeting with you?
Yeah. Well, I always tell my patients always want to use me as a therapist. I'm like, I'm not a therapist. That's my sister.
Joyce McClendon, for the record. Dr. Joyce McClendon.
And she's like, yeah, she's, I think, getting to the end where she's like, it's a lot. But
Yeah.
I think, I recommend, and then the therapists are all booked. That's the other flip side too. We don't have enough therapists to help with all the influx there's a huge need. So I recommend betterhelp.com because it's a therapist on the go. So if you're up at 1 a.m. and you can't sleep, you can log on. It's an online platform. I recommend that all the time because it is on demand. If you're having a tough time, no matter what time of the day, that is my true go-to. I do have some in my Rolodex that I've met and we collaborate, that I refer to, but everybody's, they're getting really full because I think just as the cascade from last summer up until now, life is just kind of catapulted for a lot of people for different reasons. And I think it's going to continue to do that just as, things change and transpire. So I think we need more of those platforms that are just on demand, whether it's outside of business hours, because it's going to be outside of business hours that I think people are going to need help because people have to work, they have to maintain and try to figure out how am I going to continue to maintain what I have because everything's shifting now.
Now, so what do you do in the mental health aspect? Because I feel like we were going to talk about that too.
Yeah, so I do medication management, whether
Okay.
it's, so anxiety, depression, ADHD. In the state of Georgia, I can do an evaluation and diagnose, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to, my physician, I can, tell what medication they need, but my physician has to actually prescribe the stimulant. I can do a non-stimulant, but in Georgia, great, I cannot I can send it under her name or, I can't prescribe and write stimulants. But with my collaborating physician, we have a great relationship. So she doesn't sit over my shoulder and watch what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, is that right? Because I know that we were going to talk about mental health. So I was like, wait, what do you do with the mental health part? I
Yeah.
mean, like it's just so great that you deal with the weight loss, that you're also
Yeah.
dealing with regenerative, because menopause or perimenopause, all of that can just rush up on someone and you're just
It's a
spiraling,
catapult.
not
It
knowing what
is.
is
Yes.
what. So
It
I'm glad that
affects,
you do all three so that you can kind of
yeah.
like figure out, wait, maybe this is menopause, maybe just
Yeah.
peptides.
Because I've had clients to where, there's a spouse comes in, it's like, I don't know, my wife, I don't know if it's her hormones, I don't know if it's her mood, they're concerned because they don't know which one it is. If she truly needs to be on, or if she needs to be on, something for mood, or if it's just hormones, or so it's all that mixture of they're not sure. So I'll have, spouses refer, their counterpart in to come and, just see what's needed because it gets the lines get really blurred because they're not sure exactly what's going on. And you don't want to have people on medications when it's just something that needs to be adjusted based on hormones because it is perimenopause. Because you can have those same feelings of mood disruption and not being able to sleep, or just those emotions can just kind of go from A to Z when it's just hormonal, and it's not, you don't need to be on an antidepressant or anti-anxiety medicine. So you don't want to over medicate people for the wrong reason. And then there's, you can blend a couple peptides that correct that and offset it, or do the HRT cream. So it's a lot of things that you can do to where you don't throw people on a bunch of pills. And I'm big on that. I don't like polypharmacy.
I'm so bad at taking pills that it's like, because I just like mornings. I'm rushing. I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
There's never enough time, and I'm doing my skincare. Like I'm vain. So
Listen, we have to be to keep ourselves together. There's nothing wrong with that. It is nothing wrong with that at all.
I worked in the
At
beauty industry
all.
for a reason. Like I love
Yes.
helping people and
Yes.
myself, the self-esteem of it all, passing that
Absolutely.
forward and encouraging women to be able
Yes.
to feel more confident
Yes.
in their own
And we
skin.
need to. We
They
need
really
to.
do, because the world will tear you apart.
I know.
And so that's why I just, again, like I
I
wanted
love
to make
that.
sure everybody knows everything that you offer and what kind of help there's out there for them.
Yes.
Because a lot of times they'll DM me or they text me because they don't want to out themselves on the Instagram.
And that's and I have people that do that too, and that
Yeah.
is perfectly fine. You
So
know,
that's why I'm asking all the
I
questions.
have to get better about checking it because I'm like, oh, I missed that message.
Well, that's
So
again,
I
like,
know.
we're trying to get engagement too. Asking, like, say, check your DMs before you write the DM. Because sometimes I don't want to go to the DMs because people are sending me like rage bait, and I don't want to. I'm living
Yeah,
in ignorance is bliss
I
in the
know. Me
beauty
too.
world,
Me too.
entertainment. Like I'm focused on things that are just going to keep me lifted higher and
Yes.
building community offside of the apps too. Because
Yeah.
like TikTok left and people lost their minds. And I was like, oh, I was there when MySpace, Friendster,
I
everything before.
know. I know. I know.
And
I
it's almost like
remember
a
that.
mourning period because you're like, oh, all the people. And then you
I
start realizing
know.
after a couple, I didn't know them people. They
I did
were
not
not
know.
real friends. They didn't even write in the comments back to
It
me.
felt
Why do
like
I
it. I
care?
know. I know. But speaking of skincare,
I love me some skincare. What? Share. Wait, is this an eSpot exclusive?
yes, it
Let's go.
is.
Let's
Ah,
go.
I just got the email too. It just popped up. So we'll have to come back on and tell you more. But Healthy Wellness Pros, we're going to have our own peptide skincare line.
Okay. Now, when you say your own peptide skincare line, what kind of peptides? What kind of results are we expecting from this? Who is this for? You can't just leave the people hanging.
So it will be. I'll give you this little tidbit just because it's you. So there'll be serums, toners, um, creams, eye serums. And so there's going to be one that focuses on our age group from like 20s to 30s, and then a true, like more intense anti aging for our, I would say, 35 and up, like in 50s to 60s. So more intense to really resurface and change. So very excited about that.
Let's see. When I was doing my research, I totally misunderstood and looked up mainly skincare stuff because my head is always thinking skincare. And
Yeah.
I'm scared of needles unless it's, to make my face look better. Yes, Blue Water Spa. I will be there Monday. Okay.
Right.
This says by the time this airs, I'll already have done it, so I can say the real date. But
Yes.
I was looking up some of the things, and one of the things
Mm-hmm.
that stuck out to me was this year, because of the Lindsay Lohans, the Angelina Jolies, all of these like women in their 40s, and Demi Moore in her 50s, 60s. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of these women are having their career is taking off on a second time.
Oh
Pam,
yeah, because they look like they're 30, and yeah, they look very very young. Yes.
exactly. And there seems to be a lot of undetectable injectables,
Mhm.
non-invasive skin tightening or collagen
Mhm.
boosting.
Yep.
Um, but then there's the advanced skincare treatments,
It is.
the
It is.
peptide and the exomes and
It
all of
is.
that. And you were in your
And
skincare section right
PRP,
there. It's
PRP biofilm. So I don't know if
yes.
you know about that. So I'm gonna get that next week. So I'll kind of film that and let everybody see that because that's taking your own blood, spinning it down into a gel, almost like a hyaluronic acid, like a filler. So that's a big change too, where people are not getting fillers anymore, and that's why they look very natural.
I had that
Um,
done.
yes, So it is amazing. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing was, when I went in for my consultation, I was kind of like, just fix me. I feel old. I feel tired. I just feel like how I look on the outside is not how I feel on the inside.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I had
Yeah.
gone through all this like medical stuff, and I was like, new me, new
Yep.
year, the whole
Yep.
thing.
Right.
And
Right.
although I had it done in my nasolabial folds,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember where else, but I know for sure here, and it might have been some here. I don't know. But it lasted like 2 years,
It's
and I felt
amazing.
like over
Yeah.
time, I just felt more and more because at first I was a little nervous because I used to be a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I would
Right.
go to mainly plastic
I
surgeons,
remember.
and I would see
Mm-hmm.
all these like people getting injections. Like, girl,
It's
that
like stop.
wasn't like
Like
just
you
give
need
me
to
the
stop.
lips. Like
Yes.
you
Yes.
can see it. I mean, they would have to mush it around to make it look more
Right.
pliable, but
Right.
it seemed like a lot of times they were just like, well, let's just see what happens,
I know. And
you
when
know.
people used to come in and they was like, I want this. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Because I would not, I'm like, I didn't want my name on something that looked overdone. I love the natural look. So I think the PRP biofill is just amazing.
And you don't have
I
to worry about it having an allergic reaction to it because
Right.
it's from your
No, because it's you. So I did have, and I know I look a little tired, but I did do allograft under my eyes. So that
Mm.
is going to be an addition. I think that's going to be a nice addition because that's just, little, it's baby cells, embryonic cells. So I'm excited. So I'm planning to do that. And I think doing more natural things like the PRP biofill, peptide therapy, and then having a peptide, whatever peptide
It's
skin
just
line
stacking the
that
blocks.
it's just you're stacking, and it's all just building upon what we have naturally. And I think that's just great. So it was important. I started thinking about it last summer, and talked with my husband about it. And I was like, I've always wanted that, and I didn't know how to get started, and started doing research. And so it's a great Canadian laboratory that we've been working with. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, please don't. Please let the tariffs not ruin this for us. Because I will be a mule for you to get the products back and forth. I have a
Yeah,
passport. I'm kidding.
they've
I'm
been
just
around.
kidding.
They've
Don't
been
come
around
after
since
me.
the 1960s. So they've been around for a long time. So they
Well, it's
know
not
they.
that. It's the new tariffs that they're talking about that Canada put
Oh
on
yeah, oh yeah,
America because
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah,
they were like, well,
yeah,
we'll do it first, you know. So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If you need me to be a mule, I will work for skincare because this neck right here,
I know.
I'm too scared of Cabela, I guess is one. Well, no, that's not even the right thing I would need for this. But
No.
I'm gonna look into laser for it because I do
Yes,
have
you could do the skin
like,
tightening. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like
that's what I'm
Silk
gonna
Firm is really good. Like that. That would be, and it doesn't hurt like the other stuff.
mm.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that again off air so I
Mhm.
can make sure I get
Mhm.
that spelling right so I can make sure everybody
I
knows the
got
right
you.
thing to do. Um, and then one last thing, I had seen that there's also like a neurotransmitter inhibitor peptides that you just talked about it, the arginine. Is that what you did under your eyes? Wait, no.
The allograft.
Allograft, sorry.
So it's AK. You can't advertise it as stem cells, but you have to advertise it as allograft. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that's definitely, so it's similar to, so exosomes is kind of like the byproduct of allograft.
Okay, okay. I was looking at the
Yeah.
wrong one. Um, so that's gonna be amazing. I'm excited for you. I can't wait because
I
I will
know.
definitely be your
You'll
guinea
get the.
pig if you need one.
Listen. I will definitely ship you some for sure.
You heard it here first, guys. I got it on tape. Yes, that's all I needed. We'll work for skincare.
Yes,
Everybody knows that.
of course. I mean, especially with you having all the years of experience um, in aesthetics, I would definitely want your opinion for sure.
Oh, I'm all in because I've been only using for the most part for the same since I became an esthetician. There was one spa that I worked at because I have very sensitive skin, like it reacts to everything. And I found a skincare brand that worked for me. And it was
Right.
funny. I started working at Kate Somerville's and it
Mm-hmm.
tore my skin up. So I was like, never
Oh,
again. But there were some products that worked well, but some of it was like, whew.
yeah.
Because I have hay fever allergies. I have all those like
Oh,
allergies. So
okay.
like some of those overly natural
Well,
stuff.
you would be really good then,
Yeah, I
just
need the
to,
chemicals. I don't
yes,
need the
just
natural vegan
right.
stuff. To some extent, I still want it to be like clean beauty. I don't want you testing on everything, like test on
Right.
celebrities. That's what we're here for. But yeah, I want to look as young as possible for as long as possible because my
I
husband's 6
know.
years younger too. So I don't want him to trade me
I've
in
got
for a
a
younger
mine
model.
is younger too. He's
See,
2 years younger. See, that's how we do.
Right. I'm not worried. He should be worried. Yeah, I'm just kidding. you, I love that man. So anyway,
I know. I
I will not
know.
hold you up much more. But is there
I
any
love it.
lasting thoughts that you want to share to help men, women, and all in between on
Um,
2025 if their goals is a not a better you, but maybe a better looking, or I feel like necessarily it's not always better looking because you still look good when you're bigger sometimes.
yeah.
Like that's not
I
going to change your beauty, but maybe you'll feel more confident in your
just
body.
I think the feedback we get most from our clients is they just feel really good, like especially our peptide clients. They rave about how they sleep better, they feel their workouts, they feel younger. So I think hearing how people's lives are just improved, it's such a great feeling for us, just that we are impacting people's lives day to day, that they are living more active and in I guess just being more active and just feeling better as a whole. And so I think that's just our driver to continue to revamp and keep doing what we're doing, and have more offerings, and just keep re-engineering our kind of blueprint of health and wellness pros.
Yeah, well, thanks again for being my guest on the E Spot. I
Thank
truly
you.
enjoyed speaking with you and learning
Me
all the new
too.
things I'm gonna have to go to Atlanta for.
I
Uh,
know. Yes.
I promise one day I'm gonna make it
I
down there.
know.
It's
I
just
know. I've got to get there too. I know. Every time I go to North Carolina, it's like always a hurry. So,
mhm.
but I
Well,
know.
it's the problem, like, because my dad lives out of the country, not out of the country, out of the state, and my husband's
Yes.
family is from out of state. Like that's always the number one priority. And
Yes.
his
Yeah.
brother passed away, and so we have to
Oh
go.
no.
Oh, so sad. It's really
No.
bad. Like, so
Yeah.
we're still not sure if we'll be able to do that because it's in California, and all the stuff going in
I
California
know. Oh, I know. Well, CJ is
and
out there too
asthmatic.
now.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
LA
So
area?
yeah. Yeah. He's right in near Sherman Oaks. So
Oh,
all those five.
I'm
Yeah. It's like
close.
right. Yeah. It's close. Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing my Santa Monica shirt, but I also have been donating to the LA Fire Department. So I'll definitely have the link below if you are interested in helping out and
Awesome.
sending some funds to the LA Fire Department because they're working 24-hour shifts. It is crazy how much work
Yes.
they have to do. And it's such a big county. Like the
I
whole LA
know.
County is like the whole state of North Carolina almost. So not
I
really,
know.
but
It is.
needless to say, everything we can do to help.
It's really scary. It is. It is.
And for
Yeah.
the people in Western North Carolina, I'll find a link for that too because that's close to home as well. In good old Asheville, they're still suffering, and
I
with this cold
know.
weather and snow.
I know. I know. It's so sad. I talked to a client there yesterday, and um, they're just saying how it's just still just destruction, and just just trying to rebuild. So just can't imagine that. I mean, we went there all the time. I took the kids there all the time growing up.
Same.
So just to imagine that, I can't wrap my brain around that.
Me
So
either. Like Grove
yeah.
Park Inn was our.
That I know that's your girl y'all's Christmas commercial.
Well, I mean, even still, like we took our daughters there almost every other year for her birthday, or we would go
Yeah,
there during Christmas time for the
yeah,
holidays. So
yeah.
it's a family staple. Like so many
Right.
memories are made there. I love the art district there. That's completely
I
gone.
know.
We did the tour and learned where Nina Simone's family home is, where she learned to play the piano
Yeah.
and stuff. There's so much history there
It is.
that
It
it's
is.
scary to think of all the things that are gone. And even like
Right.
with the Palisades and all of that, like there's so many like picture cars, film,
It
like
is.
just things that we'll never know that's
Never. I
lost.
know. I
But
know. Yeah.
thankfully, not a lot of people were lost. So that's
I
what.
know. That's the blessing.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
for
before
sure.
we end on a sad note, back
I
to make sure
know.
everybody follows you. I will have all the links down below. So make sure you're following
Awesome.
Miss Cindy so you can get your new you ready to go.
Yes.
because we're going to be I was about to say bulletproof, but yeah,
No,
or at
that's
least
something.
mentally and physically feeling
Yes, we will. We will have.
empowered.
We will. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thank
Make sure
you.
you keep yourself nice and happy. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please send a shout out. Don't send in DM without engaging on my content first. Like say, hey, by the way, check your DMs.
Yes.
And do the same for
Absolutely.
Miss Cindy because she can
Please
always look
do.
at it. And I don't know
I
why
know.
Miss Cindy, because you're literally like my sister. So my
I
bad.
know. I know.
We're very close in age, but I don't age myself. Just because you got older doesn't mean that I did, even though
Exactly.
I did just have a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
My husband's so funny. He got me a dinosaur because I got
Oh, that is too
years older.
funny. I love it. I love
Gotta
it.
love him. He knows
I
what I like.
know. I know. That is so you too.
Oh, and my daughter got me this from Animate. It's a
Oh,
caricature of both of us because
yes. I love it.
she's my sweetheart. All right. Well,
I
anyway,
know.
thank you again, Cindy, for joining us. And make sure
Thank
everybody
you.
follow her, you follow me. And if you have any questions, please send them in the chat. Please send us over and I'll make sure we get those answered for you. And then
Yes,
next
we
time,
will.
I have either Cindy or another beauty pro up here helping us out.
All right.